This is massive debt. And this opioid crisis isn't entirely new. In fact, every era has had its drug epidemic with their own substance, social responses, and target. Let's talk about China. In 19th century, the opioid wars show how Western powers flooded China's society with opium for profit, a war over access to addiction. Historian like David Cordwitter, in his book called Force of Habit, writes about how governments and capital markets have always had a hand in promoting or suppressing drugs based on who uses them and who profits. We can see this talking about, for example, marijuana. We can talk about alcohol. All these substances were regulated depending on who used these drugs. Because how many big pharmaceutical companies sell drugs that weren't useful and were expensive? Yeah, but that's for good people. It's not the same because they are legal. Sociologists like Howard Becker, author of Outsiders, explain that drugs use become deviant not because of the substance, but because of how society lives it. For example, coffee was once banned. I'm drinking my coffee. Cannabis was demonized when black and brown communities were associated with it. That's what I'm talking about. Who is selling marijuana? Who is selling cannabis? Now it's changing because you know who are now doing CBD products, HC products? Yeah, big pharmaceutics. So they have a new market there in the places that cannabis is regulated. So in other words, the same chemical can be a prescription or a crime, depending on who holds it. And we can talk about many other ones. I don't want to talk about the white little dust.